Okay, I got a request for a video training for the nasal hood delivery system for the Porter nitrous system. It's called the Silhouette nasal delivery system, and delivers a mixture of nitrous oxide and oxygen through a mask. The standard delivery mask is like a mask from your bag valve, which covers a lot of your face. And this mask goes over the patient's face. I'm going to put this on myself, and over their nose. And so you still have access, for example, to be able to sew up a lip laceration or work inside the patient's mouth. One of the troubles with this system, though, is that it requires somewhat cooperative patient, because if they open their mouth and they're exhaling out their mouth, then the nitrous oxide gas is not getting sucked up into the scavenger system. These hook to the suction, and there's a port inside of here where the exhaled nitrous oxide gets taken up by the scavenger system and doesn't expose everybody in the room. These masks come in in 4 different sizes in the box, and the first bag that you come to in here has these models that don't have tubing, so you can try different sizes on the patient. You know, this one would be too small, until you find one that's the right size. I'd probably this big one, and then that green one would correspond to the nasal mask delivery devices in the green. So when you take the nasal mask out of the bag, you get this. This is the last 3 feet of tubing to the patient, which is important to remember, because this is the only part of the nasal tubing that is disposable. And if I zoom in here, I want to show you something. On the nasal mask itself, you see this green material? That pulls off like backing on an adhesive sticker, so that this actually sticks to the patient's nose, the bridge of their nose, and helps improve the seal. Okay, the next important step is here. You can see down here on the screen that we've got the spare box of the nasal delivery hoods there, and there's this patient belonging bag here, and that's critically important. You got to find that patient belonging bag, because in the bag is this piece of white tubing that we need. So this piece of white tubing is critical if you're going to use the nasal hood, and it's very important to understand, because usually when you use the standard mask, the mask and all of this colored tubing, all of this is disposable when you're done with the patient. But when you use this piece of tubing, when you're done with the procedure, the only disposable part is, again, as I mentioned, the nasal hood and that last 3 feet of tubing to the patient. This is the only one of these we have at Barton, so if that accidentally goes in the trash, we're going to have to order a new one from the manufacturer. Okay, so then you're going to get your Porter nitrous machine, and the plug-ins in the back. You're going to plug this into the oxygen into the wall. Okay, then you're going to get the splitter, suction splitter. If you're in a room with one suction outlet, it lives in this supply pouch on the nitrous machine. And you're going to plug that into the suction. And you're going to plug your canister suction back in case you need that. And you're going to plug your scavenger suction into the other port. You're going to get your nitrous machine key out of the Pyxis. It's under nitrous, and unlock the cabinet. You can turn on the nitrogen tank, the nitrous oxide tank, the blue one. If you're going to use the nasal hood delivery, you have to very much modify how you use the ports here and set that up. And so you take the bag off, and in this equipment pouch, there should be, there we go, a cap that goes over that, where the bag would go, and then the suction tubing unplugs. You find your white delivery tubing, and this plugs into the white delivery tubing, this little unit here, and then it's got this switch on it. This is in the off position, and you switch it on, and you can hear that you've got suction at your mask. And so the exhaled nitrous oxide, or the excess nitrous oxide, is not going through the scavenger anymore. It's going directly into the wall suction unit. So this is supposed to be your suction limiter for the nasal mask. Unfortunately, it's not working very well. You're supposed to, if you can see, there's a little glass indicator bead. When you're holding this upright, if you turn that, you're supposed to be able to reduce the suction. You can hear the sound going down, but to that glass bead goes into the green area. But you can turn that all the way off, and it doesn't work. So what I do is I try to push this valve partway closed, and you can hear it starting to limit how much suction is going. Okay, after you've got the scavenger suction part of the system working, next you have to be able to hook it up so that you can get nitrous oxide and oxygen. So you go back in the nifty equipment kangaroo pouch here, and you find one of these fittings here, one of these little 90-degree fittings. That goes like that, and then this goes on here. And then you're set up. You've got your suction running for scavenger, and now you can start to titrate in gas flow. I'm going to turn that up. We're going to go to about 9 liters per minute. And then I'm going to start titrating in some nitrous oxide here. So you can see we're up to 10, 25, 35% nitrous oxide, but then the flow went up too high, right? It went over 15. So now I have to turn this down. We'll go down to about 12 or so, and we're going to go up 50% nitrous oxide. That's a good starting place to see if your patient's going to be comfortable enough. Oh, too much flow. So again, I'm going to wean down the oxygen a little bit. Okay. And we're going to try to get up to 70% nitrous oxide here. So we're going to continue going up on the nitrous oxide. 60%. 5%. We're getting to that 15 liters a minute maximum flow rate. So we got to kind of turn this down a little bit. We'll go down to 13 here. And we're going to see, can we go up to 70%? Sometimes this thing's a little tricky, and you have to sometimes go back up on the oxygen a little bit. There we go. We got there's kind of a sweet spot at a total flow of around 13 to 13 and a half liters per minute where you can get to the 70% nitrous oxide level. And then you're going to do your procedure like you normally do. And then when you're done with the procedure, you're going to turn your nitrous off. If you notice that, though, the oxygen delivery plummets down to 4 liters a minute, so that you're going to turn your oxygen supply back up and have the patient breathe, keep their mouth closed if you can, and have them breathe through their nose, because they're going to be exhaling all the nitrous oxide that they absorbed. And so you have them breathe oxygen through their nose while they're washing out the gas that's dissolved in their body. And you do that for 2 minutes before you take the nasal hood off of them. When the procedure's all done, you're going to disconnect the white tubing and reconnect your suction to this black port on the scavenger. Next, you're going to take this fitting back off. Try to pry this white cap back off of here. Yeah, it's kind of firm to get that off. And put that back in the equipment pouch. And you're going to put the bag, the reservoir bag, back on this port. Then you're going to turn your nitrous tank back off. Turn that thing clockwise until it's all the way off.